A topic that has become difficult to educate people on is the subject of zone of threat, otherwise known as ZOE, or zoning. Watch these two clips here and notice how I continue to fight my opponents even though I'm near death, but successfully avoid dying while still contributing to the fight. This is because I understand my opponent's zones of threat, and I perform maneuvers to nullify them. Take notice at how I try to avoid fully committing to a brawl without a way to retreat. In both cases, I only return to the fight to contribute my crowd control, so I can pin the target down and deny them the ability to fight back or damage my teammates. Or I'll use myself as bait to protect a teammate that could finish the target off. In the Amumu scene, I lure the Braum player away from his minions, so that would normally block my stun, and thus I protect my own zone of threat, which then leads to Braum being stunned by my Q, me surviving, and Caitlyn killing him off. Zone of threat is basically what areas someone can influence to impact the game. Nautilus is one of the best examples of this, as he has 4 forms of crowd control that are set in multiple ranges. His maximum threat is as far as his longest range ability goes, pending a few variables of course, and if that ability is unavailable for whatever reason, his zone of threat drops to the range of his next ability, and so on. Tons of variables can affect this, obviously, such as Fog of War, whether or not the ability can be blocked by an unintended target, which effectively reduces the threat range, of course, or whether or not there will be ample follow-up to that threat. Like, who cares if Nautilus hooks you in if there's not going to be any follow-up to it? No more CC, no more damage from other people, then the threat basically does not really exist. Zone of threat is very important to understand if you ever want to learn to initiate fights or counter-initiate them, or so you can learn to, properly trade and punish enemy mistakes, or avoid your own being punished. This scene exemplifies the notion of understanding how threatening your opponent is, and if it is safe to punish their mistake. The enemy Vi actually attacks me, a powerful ass Garen, with the expectation that she would get help from her Aurelia. Notice how far Aurelia actually is though. This means that at least for a while, if the Aurelia chooses to come help her actually, I would actually be facing off against a much weaker Vi. I could either just waltz away with no real danger to myself, or I could turn on Vi and likely kill her before anyone would even show up. I turn on her, kill her, and Aurelia didn't even budge, yet even if she did, she probably wouldn't have even been able to save her, and in fact, could risk dying herself as well. This too then evolves into knowing when your opponent has no threat, as a result of losing all their resources, such as either having wasted a key ability like an ultimate, having no mana, or being low on health. If the combined remaining resources of the enemy are not enough to deal with you, then it could actually be safe for you to go berserk on them, as long as you systematically take out whatever may pose a threat to you during your rampage. In this scene, the enemy basically spent all their resources trying to take out my Lux teammate. They're hurt and in a bad position, and most of their abilities are on cooldown. I aim for the most threatening target, the Jinx, and quickly take her out. I then aim for whoever's closest to me, which fortunately is a high CC target that needs to die for me to continue my rampage. I do not try to chase Fiddle past the Riven, and instead use my Alpha Strike to strike him down from afar to avoid the threat of a tower, though after, I dive Riven to kill her too. This next one shows me playing as Warwick, and watching my Varus teammate die, which is sad on its own right. Anyways, some players would have immediately used their ultimate and perhaps gotten into cancel by Blitzcrank, or have KO use her ultimate and then run away. I waited until my Annie teammate was within range, and then I suppressed the KO, effectively removing her threat entirely, while the Annie burnt the enemy team to a crisp. In essence, I stalled the enemy long enough to give Annie time to arrive, thus becoming a threat to the enemy, and then disabled the one member that could block some of Annie's threat, Kale. Now, some may wonder what the whole purpose of this was. Well, to be quite frank, I grew a bit tired of watching teammates or opponents either checking out of obvious advantageous fights or run into horribly dangerous situations. It is sad that not many players understand that you can contribute to a fight even when you're close to death, or players who cannot understand when it's the best time to initiate a gank or a fight. To summarize this video, it's about being smart, but also not being a pussy.